Working full time should not leave you in poverty. And this is a crazy thing, and I've had a discussion and debate with a dude about it. And follow me. So here's how it works if you work about full time in a day. You'd spend about 9 hours at work or work related stuff. And what I mean by this is the time you spend getting ready for work and waking up, driving to work, working, your break at work because you're still working and not doing what you want to do at home, and then you're driving home from work and getting home and getting in. So you lose about 9 hours, 9 to 10. Then you lose about your time doing your hobby, so maybe 8 hours doing your hobby. And then for me, it's about 7 hours of sleep. So that's me and I prefer. Now, I've done extremes, and this is more of just an off-topic video, not really too political, but I've done extremes where I would literally get about 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep. I'd stay up all night doing Rock Band, go to sleep, get up 3 hours later, have to walk an hour to work, and then go to work, sleep on the van ride. Back when I was doing inventory to the store, and it was like a rock star lifestyle. It was fun as fuck, and I tried to maximize my time and get as little sleep as possible. But it's not good for your body and your health and shit. And so what I mean by this though is, seriously though, if you work around 40 hours or more a week, then you should not be in poverty. Like, that's a fact. You're working full time. There should be no ifs, ands, or buts, or there's no debate about this. Like, if you seriously think someone as a human being should work full time, 40 hours, and still be poor, you're an idiot. I mean, that's the simplest way I can do it. So what I mean by this is there's something that's been sticking with me. Is there's this notion that back in like the 1920s or some shit, I'm blanking on who said it originally, but they said that America should work towards a 30-hour work week, and they should have 3 months off vacation. And I know it's still pretty crazy to say something like this in modern time. And it was crazy back, I guess, it probably wasn't crazy back then because people had brain cells back then. But it's like, just from a modern society standpoint, a human should not want to work 11 months out of the year, or 12 months out of a year. You're just crazy. I'm literally serious. I think you're mentally deranged if you think the average human being should work an entire year. Nothing about that seems rational. Literally, take something like a farmer, or take something like an OG like job, a fisherman. There'd be times when they couldn't fish. A farmer can only do farming stuff at certain times. They'd have to take a break, but they'd make enough money to get them through the seasons. You know, a hunter could only hunt at certain times a day and shouldn't be off the rest, and there'd be hunting seasons. I don't know. I know it's probably shitty examples, but literally, humans as a species haven't literally worked an entire year straight. They had some points where they didn't need to, or times of their life, or something, man. I don't know, dude. So that's where I stand on that, is that you're crazy if you literally want to work 12 months out of a year. That's crazy. And if you want to spend over a third of your day for 5 days of a week literally working, you're also crazy. That's insane to me. Like, who the fuck wants to work that much? It's stupid. And like, I know you're saying, Aaron, you have to work, it's economy and shit like that, balances. And this is my point, is that for society and as my fellow human, I do not want you to have to literally be a wage slaver. I don't want you to work because you literally have to work in order to survive. That's crazy. You should work, you know, to survive, but not like you have to work an insane amount just to be able to literally provide. I mean, literally, my boss works over 55 hours and can still get on get welfare and stuff, and she's a mother and has kids and is behind on rent. I hate living in a society where someone can literally work like slaves type shit, like literally 55 hours and is still broke as shit. That is just a failure of society. For my fellow man, I do not want you to have to work that many hours and still be behind. Now, I know there's other stories where my dude I know a bunch of dudes, big old dick swagging. My dude, he worked his ass off. He worked like 18-hour days, and he just made $1 kabillion. He made a shit ton of guap, and it put him in a good financial structure. But he had some other means. I'm gonna have to pause this commentary for a split second. Don't you go nowhere. I'm back. Did you miss me? No, but seriously though, my dude, he worked like 18 hours. He literally slept for maybe 5-6 hours, and he was back at the job grinding. And he did it, what was it, 5 days a week? And he made a huge amount of guap, you know. But as just like a human being, that's literally just working. That's crazy to me. And what I mean by this is, call me lazy, call me whatever you want, unmotivated or whatever. But I understand a job where it's your passion, like you just want to do that and only that. Like a YouTuber, if I was making my dream job as either a politician or a YouTuber or whatever my dream may be, or your dream may be, if you wanted to work that maybe 40 hours or 50 hours, more power to you, because you probably enjoy it or it gives you a sense of fulfillment. Yeah, but most people don't get that from their job. And let's be honest, and this is the key thing about the minimum wage debate. Nobody wants to work 40 hours at McDonald's. Like, I was literally at McDonald's the other day. God, man, I shouldn't have been there, but a long story why I was there. But, yo, this lady came in, and she was a little wacky but crazy. But she's like, we've been out here waiting like 10 minutes, and the manager there is like having none of that shit. She's like, she was like blocking her out. And I'm like, we're all humans. We're all in society. McDonald's is swamp. Any McDonald's in the ghetto or a bougie fucking McDonald's, I hate them. But, you know, it's not the fault of the employees. It's literally the fault of the McDonald's for having a poor environment, poor wages, you know, whatever shit like that, unmotivated people. But, you know, but I'm just like, I took a step back because I was waiting. I'm just like, this is a person who, she said she used to work at McDonald's, so if I take her value and say she really did work at McDonald's and she understands, the person there at McDonald's just couldn't care. They were just like so numb to what the scenario was. Like, from their perspective, she's just like, I'm just trying to work my ass off. She was the manager, and she's like, I'm just trying to work my ass off and shit, is what she's probably thinking. And this other person's like, I'm just trying to get my food and go home, and like, it's taking forever. And I'm watching, like, they're working hard and shit. And to say that these people in these high stress environments, like any person who's worked at a food job knows that there's some crazy chaotic shit, you know, constantly working hard. I mean, literally, when I was working at my other job 2 jobs ago, I worked at a pizza place. They literally like fired me because I was too slow at the job. And like, you know, I don't have no gripes about it, you know, it's fair, whatever. But, you know, you know, also the pay was like minimum wage. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to work my ass off for minimum wage. Like, you could eat a dick. That's so, I mean, this also goes back to that Fox News thing where they were talking about like how tipping got removed from like a business, and they were like, I like tipping and shit. And it's like, yeah, of course you're rich, but I bet the people who receive the tips, if they don't like get tips, it sucks to be them. Because whenever I go out, I try to tip the waitress, you know, at least 20% or whatever you're supposed to, and I definitely do that. And I literally think I always do that, and it's fair, and I understand that, and I always think to myself like, man, I wish I got paid by tips because I tip so much. It must be good for them to get that much. But I assume the general person is an asshole and wouldn't tip that much. So I understand that side of it, and that's off topic, but you know, fuck it, that's what I do. So anyways, back to my final point. Let me wrap this up real quick. Working 5 days a week, where you spend literally a third of your day working, if you get an enjoyment out of it, is fine, but if you don't, then you shouldn't literally have to do that 12 months out of the year. You should not get 2 days off, a third of your day is spent working for those 5 other days, and you do this for an entire year. That is just that's in a grind that even people who play Destiny could probably not even enjoy. Roasted. No, but you know, I feel bad for my fellow human when I see them like that is their like when my friend did it for the guap, he was doing it because he could, and he didn't have to. And so if somebody does that because they can or they have the option, more power to you. You fuck it, go ahead, get that guap. If you're a money chaser like that, I don't take nothing away from it. If you just want to sit there and work 80 hours a week because you want the guap, fine, but I don't think it should be the only means of income for people, is to work 55 hours and still live you know, at a moderate level of you know, still could be qualified for poverty. Like the way the salary thing, I know it's a side thing, but you know, it's just a trap. Like, you're signed to a death trap, is no matter how much you work, you don't get paid shit. And so that was always dumb. I even said, like, I wouldn't be a supervisor at Family Dollar because the money is just not worth it for the amount of shit you have to do and understand. And I've always said this, for like somebody, like I was having a perspective at Family Dollar. I was like, you're in charge of this place that makes like $100,000 or maybe $1 million in profit, and the person getting paid there literally makes like you know, makes less, like half of 100,000, you know, 50,000. I don't know what the exact number is, but you know what I'm saying? Like the people that work there literally make about 100,000, and the store is making profit of like maybe 9 to 10, you know, 9/10 of the scale. So if you do, hang on, I'm gonna have to fucking continue this commentary. Damn it. my final point goes to more of wealth distribution and how it's becoming alarmingly unfair and shit. Is how these 4 or 5 people in charge of making a corporation, you know, making somebody a shit ton of money. And I don't remember what the profit of my store. Oh yeah, the profit of the store. Man, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but you know, the profit was like borderline $1 million. I think is what it was. Profit. It might have been not profit. It might have been net or whatever. You know, where they, you know. Anyways, whatever. They, you know, the store's not hurting for money. You know, they're making a sizable amount of profit, but not as much as, you know, padding the bottom line is. And the amount they pay to the employees would be about. Hopefully nobody watches this. I don't get fired because of this shit. Yo, but they'd make like 80,000, I think is what it was. No, there's no way they'll watch this. Yo, but so the employees would make about 80 to 100,000, and the store would make about 800,000 profit. And so that's, so you know, roughly. So they're making, you know, $70,000. You know, I would say like net or whatever of profit. Also, and as you see there, the people doing the brunt of the work, literally making them the money, you know, doing the day-to-day labor, keeping the presentation nice and shit like that. They're getting only 1/8 of the pay, and it's just like insane. Like, because I keep going back to my example, but I asked my friend, like, dude, if you had to hire an employee, because he does his own shit, if you had to hire an employee, would you be willing to pay them the value of what they're worth? And he said, yeah. And I was like, there you go. That's all you need to know. Like, if I was a big YouTuber and I had someone helping me, you know, I'd literally give them as much as I could fucking, you know, I'd give them like near half, because they deserve it. And that's how I've always operated. That's how, you know, most fair people, that's like why the guy in Seattle took the pay cut, because he was like, you know what, you're doing the same job as me, you deserve something. Anyways, this has been Gangster 7. Let me know your thoughts. Peace out.